What's up? This is Stefan. I'm in a band called PUP, and you're listening to the Moshpit on Sin.
Hey everyone, I'm Stefan from the Moshpit on Sin, and thanks so much for tuning in to another interview. Our guest is a Canadian punk rocker from the band PUP, who will be touring Australia's East Coast in October. The band's second album, The Dream Is Over, came out in May, and it's a bloody ripper. On the line is frontman Stefan Babcock. Hey Stefan, how you going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Absolutely great. Thank you for being here. So, Stefan, for those new to the critical success that is PUP, can you describe in your own words what the band is about, what's their sound, what's their mission statement is, and so forth?
Sure. We're a punk rock band. We play loud, we play fast, sometimes we play weird. Yeah, we're just trying to make, like you said, bloody rippers. I think that was my favorite PUP description ever.
Awesome. Now, you got a new album out for these bloody rippers called The Dream Is Over, which follows your self-titled debut 2 years ago. So, how did PUP avoid so-called sophomore slump?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think we just worked really hard. We worked hard on this record, and we made something that we're proud of, and we also just didn't let things kind of like get in our head. I think a lot of bands, there's a lot of pressure on the second record. If your first record does okay or does well, and we just kind of like didn't let that pressure really get to us. We just kind of stayed the course and tried to just make music that we liked and that we would want to listen to.
Was there any songs that you that I guess could be in the cutting room floor in the vault, that these songs, they were good songs, or you thought, okay, maybe these doesn't really suit what PUP is about, like maybe they're not punk rock songs?
Well, we did. Well, there are songs that we did cut. I should say, first of all, a bunch of songs that we did cut. But on this record, I think every song there has a purpose and has a place, and we feel good. There are definitely songs that are kind of a little outside of our comfort zone. There's a song called Old Wounds, which is really a hardcore song, which is much kind of more raw and aggressive than we usually are. And, there's a song called Pine Point, which is much kind of more introspective than we usually get. But I think part of the thing that I love about playing in this band is not being afraid to kind of explore different musical angles and try things out.
Speaking of not being afraid, so the opening lines of the album read, "If this tour doesn't kill you, then I will." So I know that your bandmates are from primary school and that you played over 450 shows the last couple of years, but should the other guys fear for their safety?
I don't think so. I mean, that song, yes, I wrote the lyrics, but I wrote the lyrics as a kind of reflection on touring, that a kind of sentiment that all four of us have. Not just me, it's all four of us. Like, all four of us have felt like we wanted to kill one another at some point on tour. Touring the way we tour is very unglamorous. We spend a lot of time in the van, a lot of time sleeping on floors. There's no privacy. We're around each other all the time, and it can be a lot to deal with. And so, as much as we love each other and are very lucky to play in bands with each other, we can annoy the shit out of each other at times. So, that's what that song is kind of about. And it really is like a song that all four of us are able to relate to lyrically. It's not just me hating them. It's all of us at times hating hating every other bandmate. But for the most part, at the end of the day, we're best friends, and we feel really lucky to be doing what we're doing.
I guess it's lucky that it's you four that have known each other for so long, so you're like brothers now, because if it was maybe anyone else, maybe the whole band could be dead by now, and, maybe you have to rename the band to, like, Pulp, like a bloody Pulp or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't think I would have written a song called "If This Tour Doesn't Kill You, I Will" if the band legitimately hated each other, because that's just a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, you have known these guys most of your life, spent most of your career rocking out with them, and sometimes being pissing each other off. So I guess you guys are one big family now, or or is it more like you're good mates, or even more like work colleagues now?
I think at this point, like when we started off, I think we felt like we were really good friends. And at this point, I feel more like these guys are my siblings now, like more than anything. It's like the connection and the love for each other is deeper than a friendship, but also like you're kind of stuck with them. And, siblings can have a unique ability to kind of piss you off, I think, in a way that friends can't. They know where to dig the knife in, and even if they do that, I mean, you're still family. There's nothing you can do about it except for maybe retaliate back in your own aggressive way. And that's how I really feel about these guys. They're like my family now, and there's no turning back, and I do love them.
So who contributes what? Like, which band member does what when it comes to recording process of the album?
We're very much a band. Right, the four of us. I mean, I kind of shell songs, but once the shell is kind of written, we kind of all get in the jam space together, and the whole band kind of tears the song apart and rebuilds them, and eventually the song turns into something different entirely than what it was initially. So it's a really kind of collaborative process, and we kind of, it's collaborative. What else can I say about it? It's a great band experience.
So the music video for the song DVP, it's extraordinary. One of my favorite videos of the year so far. It's a lyric video using the footage from classic 8 and 16-bit games. So Stefan, who came up with this idea and how was it executed? Yeah,
so we have a fifth secret member in PUP, and his name is Jeremy, and he does a lot of videos for us. He does most of our music videos, and he's a very close friend of ours. And he had this, the other guys, less than me actually, but the other guys really were really into classic video games and played a lot of Nintendo and Sega and stuff like that growing up. And so he had this idea to kind of use all of that stuff and create this lyric video out of like some of our favorite classic games, and so he just took it upon himself, and I think he did a really incredible job.
Awesome. So the title of the album, The Dream Is Over, is a reference to a doctor telling yourself, Stefan, that you would never sing again. But of course your voice is alive and kicking. So can you tell us what happened with that situation?
Yeah, I mean, we toured aggressively. We did 450 shows in 2 years, like 250 shows in 1 year. It's a lot. And during most of that time, I wasn't really taking care of my body, It's pretty hard on myself and just the way I was living. And we spent a month recording this new record, The Dream Is Over, and then we had, I think, a day or two off, and we were due to start a 7-week tour. And following, the recording, my voice wasn't feeling so great, and I went to see a doctor and a cyst on my vocal cords, and my vocal cords were starting to hemorrhage, which means they were just bleeding into themselves. And she took one look at this kind of gnarly mess of vocal tissue in my throat and said, "The dream is over," which I thought was just like, I kind of thought it was funny at the time, So anyways, we did that whole tour. We did 6 weeks, 6 weeks of touring after that, and kind of proved that the dream wasn't over. But after that, I had a lot of recovering to do, and I've been kind of working really hard to get my voice back into shape. And I'm feeling a lot better, and I also feel like naming the record "The Dream Is Over" was kind of like a really kind of big victory for us. It's a tongue-in-cheek title. It kind of shows that hopefully people get the humor in it and understand that there's some disillusionment and desperation in the lyrics of the record, but at the same time, we're not a band to give up the fight easily, and we're very persistent, and we're still out there touring and living our dream.
Well, I think there's something missing here. I mean, when the doctor said the dream is over, you said it was funny at the time, but wasn't. What about the part that was like, oh crap, like I may never sing again? What about that?
Yeah, there was a whole lot of that too. You know, I try not to dwell on it too much, but yeah, there was definitely. It was tough. I mean, at the end of that tour, I mean, I was incapable of literally. I couldn't make a sound out of my throat for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I was totally silent. Like I couldn't even whisper. And it was tough. And you know, of course, like you know, you get those thoughts like, man, I might never be able to sing again. Like, I wonder what I'm going to do with my life now that, you know, I've been trying to be in band for 15 years and I've finally just started, like, succeeding a little bit, and now maybe all of that is gone. And it's for sure, it's tough. It's a weird situation, and you know, I was really unhappy for a long time, and I really kind of retreated into myself for a while there. But at the end of the day, you know, there are so many people in the world who have overcome such greater hardships than that, you know, and I take a lot of inspiration from those people, and I realize, like, you know, I've worked too hard at being in a band to let this be the end of the line. So it just took a little more work and more persistence, and here we are, you know, touring like crazy again, and with a new record out. So I'm feeling positive, and I'm feeling relieved.
Also, now you'll be in Australia in October for your shows, and it's not the first time you've been here. So what was your Aussie experience like last time?
It was amazing. I mean, our first ever tour in Australia was with the Smith Street Band, who are just incredible and good dudes, good band, or I should say, great dudes, great band. It was so much fun, you know. It was a pretty extensive tour. It was pretty long. It was like 25 shows or 30 shows, somewhere around there, and we got to see so much of the country that I think most touring bands don't get to see, and we just had a blast, you know. We got to spend a couple of days on the beach every week, and we got to see all sorts of crazy places. Like we got to go to Tasmania and play a show, which is something that, like, I had never even considered as a thing that I might do in my life, you know. So it was tons of fun, and I'm just really excited. I mean, I could say it was probably the most fun tour that PUP has ever done. So I'm so excited to come back and do it again, and see some old friends and make some new friends.
And now for the most important question, as of course we are Moshpit on SYN here. So what are the Moshpits like at a PUP show?
I mean, it varies from place to place, but usually it's pretty rowdy. There's a lot of stage diving. I like to stage dive too. I love a lot of mellower music, and I love a lot of, you know, I love mellow music, but at the same time, playing mellow music is not like playing loud, heavy music, because the shows are so much more fun when you play kind of aggressive, rowdy music. So I love having a good mosh pit, and I hope Australia comes out and represents.
We certainly will. PUP will be touring Australia's East Coast in October, and the Melbourne show will be Thursday, October the 8th at the Reverence Hotel. PUP's sophomore album, The Dream Is Over, is out now. I've only been blasting it the last couple of days, but I'm hooked already. Some terrific punk rock bangers there. Stefan Babcock, thanks so much for joining us on the Moshpit on SYN.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, we'll see you later, Stefan. See you in October.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Cheers.